Hello, my name's Dave Suckling and you're watching another episode of Fresh Off the Press English. Today we're talking about divorce. It's Friday the 28th of September 2018. This news comes from Bloomberg. The news is about young people getting married and staying married. So there's less divorces happening. The divorce rate is decreasing. Less people are getting divorced nowadays. Let's look at the headline. Millennials are causing the US divorce rate to plummet. Millennials. This word millennials refers to young people who were born just before the millennium, maybe in the early 90s, late 80s, the people who around the year 2000 started to graduate university and start their lives. So young people now, people aged between 20 and 30 now, we can call millennials. It's a generation of people we call the millennials. Plummet. Now if something plummets, it means it drops. It falls very quickly. Plummet. So here we're talking about the divorce rate. The number of people getting a divorce has plummeted, has dropped. People are getting married and staying married, apparently. Americans under the age of 45 have found a novel way to rebel against their elders. Novel. This word novel means new and interesting. Okay, if something is novel, it is new and interesting. It's an adjective. We can describe something as novel. We know that also, yes, a novel is a book, but the original meaning of the word novel means new and interesting. Okay, we can have a novel idea. That's a new and interesting idea. A novel design. Oh, that's a new, interesting design. Novel just means new and interesting. Novel. Their elders. Now this word elders is just a nice way of saying people who are older than you. It's a nice way of saying it. Rather than saying you are older than me, you are old, I can say you are my elder, you are elder than me. It just sounds nicer than calling somebody old. Elders. So here it's people who are older than them. They're elders. Generation X, and especially millennials, are being pickier about who they marry, tying the knot at older ages when education, careers and finances are on track. So again, Generation X again is another word meaning the people who now are in their 20s or 30s. These are Generation X and millennials, people who were born around the millennium, are being pickier. This word, pickier. If you are picky, it means you don't just decide to choose one thing. You say, okay, I'm going to look very carefully. I'm picky. I want everything to be perfect. I don't just say, okay, I'll have it. I am picky, meaning I have to make sure it's got this and this and that. So here we're talking about being picky about who you marry. Taking your time, getting to know somebody, making sure you've got the right person before you get married. Being pickier or being picky. Bonus phrase, tying the knot. This phrase, tying the knot, just means getting married. Okay, I can ask you, how old were you when you tied the knot? And it means, how old were you when you got married? Are you going to tie the knot? Are you going to get married? Tying the knot. On track. On track. So here we're waiting until our careers and finances are on track. So it basically means when our jobs, our careers, and our money is organized and prepared well, on track, meaning we have a clear plan about the future, we are safe in our jobs, and we have enough money, we are on track. We're going to keep going the same direction. Not much will change, so we are on track. We've got a good plan for the future. Marriage is more and more an achievement of status, rather than something that people do regardless of how they're doing. Status. Status. Saying marriage is more and more an achievement of status, meaning if you have enough money and you have a good job, then getting married becomes an extra thing that makes you into a better person, makes you into a person. People look at you and say, oh wow, you are a great person, you are married, you are better than someone who's not married. It's important for people nowadays to be married and organized in a good way, because it gives people status. It puts people at a higher level than people who are not married. They have a higher status, a higher social level, let's say, status. Let's look at today's words. Millennials. Millennials. Plummet. Plummet. Novel. Novel. Elders. Elders. Pickier. Pickier. On track. On track. Status. Status. These are good words to remember when we want to talk about our lives, our families, how our lives are going. My life is on track. I'm very picky about what I do with my life, who I marry. I respect my elders. My status is important. It's good things when we want to talk about our own lives, our own relationships. These are important words. Write them down and remember them. Getting a divorce. I don't plan on getting a divorce. I'm not married, but I think when I get married, I will be certain about it first. I'll be very picky about it. I think it's a good idea for people to take more time before they get married, to make sure they are certain about the person that they are marrying, or the lifestyle, the future life that they will have once they are married. It's not just about the person. I find that most of the time it's not about the person. When you get married, I don't know, but in my mind, it's not about the person, it's more about the lifestyle. A lot of people, I think, get married because once they get married, they realize that their life has changed. It's not necessarily they don't like the person, it's just they don't like their own life. And so when you get married, you need to make sure you talk a lot about your future lifestyle choice with that person. How do you want to live together? It's very important, because that's what you have. You have a life with that person. I think it's a great idea, the future, less people getting divorced. I think it's a good idea. I think marriage is an important part of our lives. It's important to have somebody to rely on and support you throughout your life. Thank you for watching this episode of Fresh Off the Press English. I hope I can see you again tomorrow for another interesting news story from around the world. As always, don't be bored, be busy, and bye-bye.